Well, good evening, fastball fans, and welcome to the nightcap here on day 2 at the 2024 ISC World Tournament at beautiful Softball City here in Surrey, British Columbia. Blair Sedford, Peter Labardius for the nightcap. It's the Hill United Chiefs out on the field, and the hard-throwing Roman Godoy will be on the board for the Chiefs, the team from Ontario, taking on the Seattle Dirt Dogs. And Peter, I heard you say during the opening ceremonies, every tournament needs a dirt dog.
Well, you absolutely do. Love the name. They were winners yesterday against the Alberta Masters team. They won the contest 2-1, so they're making their second appearance of this 2024 event against one of the heavily favored teams to play for the title. As you get a look at Ezekiel, Quentin Bruce, Alan Pecker in the outfield, Shales, Bolin, Villavazo, Gonzalez, and behind home plate it is Josh McGovern.
Josh McGovern has done the bulk of the catching duties for Hill United with Roman Godoy on the board. They've tried to pair the veteran Bruno Matroni with the youngster Marco Diaz. Rumor has it that we won't see Marco Diaz until later in the tournament, Thursday. I don't know whether they're hiding Marco or they're just trying to prevent him from piling up the wins, but Marco Diaz, the presumptive ace for this squad, and has done the bulk of the pitching in the big games, but Roman Godoy has been an ace the last few years with Circle Tap with JB and has carried teams deep into tournaments. He can get on a roll and get this Chiefs team well into the week. One batter, one strikeout. Good morning, good afternoon, and night. Tyson Fischlin, we barely knew ye up at the plate.
Yeah, and Fischlin was 2 for 4 in their win yesterday, but no match for the high rise from Godoy.
That'll bring up Jake Gardner, the two-batter for Seattle. And that pitch just misses on the outside. Jake Gardner, Chase Christensen, Ryan Budnick, rather. Levi Tate, Logan Christensen, Brent Schick, Caleb Humphreys, Ryan Parker in the 9 spot for the Dirt Dogs.
Gardner had a couple of hits yesterday in that win over the Alberta Masters team in their opener.
That was a good win for Seattle, too. The Masters team, it is what you think it is. It's a 40-plus-year-old team. They're aiming at the Canadian Men's Masters Championship here in a couple of weeks in Saskatoon. There's the changeup, the great changeup from Roman Godoy. He throws almost as hard as anybody in the game into the 80s, but he dials that pitch down into the mid-50s.
Well, when
it is a buckler.
When it's in that spot, now you become almost unhittable.
And then you come back and paint the corner on the outside for strike 3. Roman Godoy, one swinging, one looking. Watch the replay here, just to the outside corner. Look where McGovern is set up and right to the glove on the corner.
Yeah, you couldn't walk down and hand it any better than the location that Godoy just put it in.
So Chase Christensen, 3-batter for Seattle Dirt Dogs, fouls that one off. The Dirt Dogs play, Peter, quite a decent schedule in Washington State. They come up here into the mainland BC to play tournaments as well. They're a competitive squad. This is out of their weight class, clearly. They know what this game is about. But they're aiming for a different thing here in this ISC World Tournament experience. And for the Seattle squad to be here, too, this is their first World Tournament.
Well, what an experience and what a great facility. And you only get better when you take on this kind of competition. Godoy has terrific movement early in this game.
Well, he thought he was off the field with that one and was moving towards the dugout.
Well, he's been a long-time fixture when you think about pitchers from Argentina, and there he goes again.
Strikes out the side, does Roman Godoy in the top of the first. We'll go to the bottom half. The Hill United Chiefs coming to the plate on the nightcap here on the ISC Network. Deep right field, it's curving. This one, well hit to deep right field this time, and that one is gone. Trying to put it away is Jack Bettsgrove. The New York Gremlins are world champions.
Congratulations, gentlemen.
Start spreading the news, Joe Todd. It's New York, New York. Back here for the bottom of the first inning, home team Hill United Chiefs set to come up to the plate. There's the batting order. Shane Boland, Brad Ezekiel, Nick Shales, that same top three. It's been the same for about the last 4 or 5 years. Bruno Matroni, it's cleanup. Quentin Bruce, Lenny Villavazzo, two newcomers to the lineup this year. Tony Gonzalez, Josh McGovern, and Alan Pecker back into the lineup, Peter, after mostly a summer's-long injury, a deep thigh bruise where he was out of action. Got back into it last week at the USA Nationals. It was almost like he hadn't missed a beat. Hit a big home run for the Chiefs to get them into a game late in the tournament. So we'll look to see some action from Alan Pecker in the 9 spot. Defensively for this Seattle Dirt Dawgs squad, left to right across the outfield, it's Ryan Parker in left, Tyson Fischlin in center, Levi Tate is in right field, and then around the horn, Chase Christensen, Ryan Budnick, Caleb Humphreys, and Logan Christensen. Julio Rodriguez, Julio Rodriguez, and behind the plate is Jake Gardner.
Rodriguez, Blair, had 13 strikeouts in the win yesterday over the Alberta Masters.
That misses downstairs. Shane Boland. Up and down season for Shane. At times he has been red hot and has been top notch for the Chiefs, and others just so. And I think he would admit to that he's looking to have himself a week here at the ISC World Tournament. Led the tournament in RBIs a couple of years back, 2021.
Two-time All-World member, the longtime staple of Canada's national men's team. The 34-year-old from St. John's, Newfoundland, 4 for 14 in Denmark, Wisconsin 1 year ago.
Long look in from Rodriguez. And that skips through past everybody to the screen.
Rodriguez hails from Ensenada, Mexico. According to the ISC roster sheet.
Well, there's no reason to not be truthful there.
You wouldn't think so.
Hard one hopper coming across. That's a nice play. And up and over from the third baseman for the Seattle Dirt Dawgs. Tested right away is Chase Christensen. Stuck with it, Peter, even though it brought him down to his knees.
Literally. Look at him fight. Gained enough balance, Blair, to throw a strike across the diamond. Had trouble, set himself. You usually need to be on your feet to set yourself, but still made a very strong throw to get Boland for the first out.
By half a step just, too. Bradley Ezekiel to the plate. Bradley still amongst the best hitters in the game. He's been there for over a decade and just shows no signs of slowing down.
I think one of the best of all time. Ever.
It's certainly in that conversation for Bradley Ezekiel. The consistency that he has maintained over the years. Guys get hot for a year or two. They have a couple of good campaigns, and then it tails off. Not so with Bradley Ezekiel.
7-time an all-world player at this event. 6 for 18 last year in Wisconsin, which for him is average. Scary when you hit .333, Blair, and 2 home runs and 5 runs batted in. And maybe that's okay.
Well, the scary thing with Bradley is he can do that sometimes in a game, the 2 home runs and the 5 RBIs. Swings and misses here, gets away from the catcher, and not a good throw down to first. Bradley Ezekiel will be aboard on the pass ball.
Well, Jake Gardner just couldn't quite collect that behind home plate the way that he wanted to, and it allows Ezekiel to make his way. The first step was in the wrong direction. That's what really limited Gardner's opportunities to throw the 37-year-old from Harbor, Maine, Newfoundland out at first base.
Nick Shales to the plate. Nick, veteran for the Hill United Chiefs. He's been around this team since the very beginning, helped to put it together all the way back in 2012.
This guy's going to the Hall of Fame. There's no doubt about that. 10-time All-World player, now 39 years of age. 2-time MVP. 2-time world champion. Other than that,
hasn't done much.
It's been average.
No, hasn't done much. Nick Shales still, again, here's another guy who is also on that list of top hitters that Luciano put together. Had himself a whale of a tournament at the USA National Championship a week ago. Hill United finishing 3rd, upset in the losers bracket final to the Oma Tigre. But Shales had himself a great week. Swing and a miss here, and down on strikes, the curse of the broadcasters once again. And that's 2 really good drops that Julio Rodriguez has put together. The one to Bradley Ezekiel was good, a nice swing and miss there, too.
I know the Alberta Masters are not the Hill United Chiefs, but this guy still had 13 strikeouts yesterday. And you watch that drop ball and the velocity and the movement on it, he just struck out 2 of the game's best back-to-back. Even though Ezekiel is standing at first base after the pass ball allowed him to be there.
Bruno Matroni to the plate. And Peter, you talk about veteran leadership. You see Bruno Matroni's picture in the dictionary. This guy leads by example. He teaches, he mentors. Right back up the middle, Bruno Matroni does what he does, gets big hits in big situations. Jeff Ellsworth, the skipper for the Hill United Chiefs, throws out the stop sign as Bradley Ezekiel goes coast to coast. And just that little bobble, and the Chiefs, as they have done for over a decade in this tournament, are poised to take advantage of just the slightest mistake by the opposition.
Does Bradley Ezekiel get enough credit for his base running? Like, there was no doubt that goes off the glove of the pitcher, and he was, without question, going to be at third base.
Well, just put the head down. He had the play in front of him. He's able to read it all the way, and he knew that that ball was going to get out onto the grass, and he could easily make it to third base.
Here's a pretty good addition from a year ago, wouldn't you say?
Quentin Bruce came over from the Bear Creek Express. Had a season of all seasons in 2022. All-Canadian, All-World at ISC, All-World at the WBSC, All-American at the USA National. Never been done before, to our knowledge, in the history of the game. Quentin Bruce did it in 2022. Followed it up. He was only All-Canadian and only All-World and only All-American last year. Little excuse-me check swing. That's a fair ball this time. And over to first. They get out of it. A couple of good defensive plays there by the third baseman. Chase Christensen helps out his pitcher. We're scoreless through 1 complete. Just getting going here on the ISC network. It's the nightcap, last game of the night on day 2.
How confident are you in your organization's security posture? If your answer isn't 100%, you're not alone. Most organizations aren't doing enough to protect their data. And they know it. With Armitage Technology, you can stop worrying about IT security issues so you can focus on moving your business forward. Our experienced staff monitor and maintain your IT infrastructure to keep your business running. Visit us at armitagetech.com and make your technology work for your business. How confident are you in your organization's security posture? If your answer isn't 100%, you're not alone. Most organizations aren't doing enough to protect their data, and they know it. With Armitage technology, you can stop worrying about
Well, 3 up, 3 down for Ramon Godoy in the top of the first inning. He struck out the side. It'll be 4-5-6 for the Seattle Dirt Dogs. Ryan Budnick, Levi Tate, Logan Christensen for this Seattle squad. Godoy's ready to go. He can't wait for Budnick to get in the box here. He's got the ball at the hip and right away in with strike one.
Reminds
Little delayed
me-
call there.
Maybe not quite as quick as Australian Tropics pitcher Harrison Peters in terms of get it and throw it, but not far from.
There's the changeup again from Godoy. Dial that down to 58 miles per hour.
Who has a better changeup, Migliavacca or Godoy?
Oh, that's a great question. Both of them mix it in very, very effectively. Called strike 3. Didn't waste any time. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Can't get the bat off the shoulder. Goes Ryan Budnick. I think, Peter, if I had to judge it, and I only tilt the scales ever so slightly in favor of Ramon Godoy because he throws harder than Pablo.
I was going to say.
And it's the differential between the two. But Pablo can throw it, well, so can Godoy, but Pablo just mixes speeds so effectively. You won't get the same pitch at the same speed twice in an at-bat from Pablo.
Well,
Godoy, Godoy, just the hard stuff,
Yes.
and then mixes in.
Well,
the
there's no
change.
question which pitcher throws with more velocity. And you're right, the difference in the pace makes a big difference. The one thing that I've noticed this year in being around a little bit more is Migliavacca, he'll not only throw it down, he'll actually throw it up too. And I don't know if that's necessarily in Godoy's arsenal, but with his up elevation with velocity, I'm not sure he needs that one.
No, he doesn't really. And with Pablo, he's most effective when he's at the knees or below. If Pablo's throwing the ball up in the zone, he's taking a risk. Godoy can get away with it with his velocity.
Well, he's throwing hard tonight. There's no doubt about that.
Well, there's the big rise ball, and swinging right underneath it is Levi Tate. 5 straight strikeouts for Ramon Godoy right now. He looks as good as at any time I've seen him this year.
Well, I hope everything's okay at home. He was unable to participate in the World Cup Group B qualifier for Argentina because of a family situation, and great to see him participating again after that. We forget sometimes, people in sports, that life is more important.
Everybody is human here. Just about everybody will go home and go to work on Monday or Tuesday following the ISC World Tournament. Logan Christensen flexing that right shoulder, almost like he popped something there, Peter. It was a very awkward swing.
It was an awkward
He
swing.
is in some pretty significant discomfort.
He's trying to work his way out of it. I think I just saw 86 on the gun.
That'd be pretty impressive if it was. Godoy's.
Now, maybe I didn't see it the right way, but well, now,
Well, that.
not sure.
Yeah.
I know one thing. That was not 70.
No, that had
No
some,
chance.
That had some zip.
That was
behind it
70.
for sure. Yeah. Called strike 3. Ramon Godoy has got it going on tonight. 2 of them caught looking. 6 straight to open the game here against the Seattle Dirt Dogs. We'll go to the bottom half of the second. Hill United coming back up to the plate. Still scoreless. Let's see what happens next.
He came from Australia with a superstar pedigree. And from his first ISC in 2003, you knew he was going to be something special. 6 times All-World, a 3-time ISC champion, and now the first Aussie inducted into the ISC Hall of Fame. From counting materials and the farm in Wisconsin, to Kitchener, to finding a home in the New York Gremlins colours. Congratulations, Jeff Goolagong, from all of us.
For the best Bear Tent banter on the airwaves, listen to Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly. Here's some of the biggest stars chatting with 2 of Newfoundland's own, Jason Hill and Steve Mullally. It's unfiltered and uncensored. Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly, wherever you get your podcasts. Yes, bye.
Lenny Villavazzo, one of the off-season additions for the Hill United Chiefs, will lead things off here, the bottom of the second inning. Peter, maybe the only guy that you would be more worried about coming to the plate would be Eric Ochoa right now than Lenny Villavazzo.
This guy has had a very impressive year. He can flat out hit. I made mention earlier today of how impressed I was with Northeast driller Blaine Milheim when I watched him in an event we worked together earlier this year in Simcoe. Here's the other guy that really popped for me, Blair, in that event as far as gentlemen that maybe I hadn't seen as much in the past. He is a terrific player. He fields his position exceptionally well. He might be as good a second baseman as there is on planet Earth.
He is right there in the men's game right now, and you talk about not just hitting, Peter, but defense as well. In that conversation with the Milheims, with the Ochoas, who are the best players in the game right now? This guy's right there.
Remeke when he's healthy. There's a lot of great ones, and we'll watch all of them here this week, all on display, and really neat too. And you made mention of this yesterday, and we'll see it as the week goes on. More Japanese national team members here this year than ever before, and playing a key role on the Oma Tigre team in particular, and a big reason they made it to last week's final of the ASA National Tournament.
Well, Rio Koyama did a terrific job last week in the circle for Oma Tigre, and Donnie Hale gave some really interesting insight. Donnie Hale played in Japan for 18 seasons. And this one, well hit, deep center field to the fence, and long gone. Lenny Villavazzo does what Lenny Villavazzo does, and he hits home runs. Straight away center field.
Well, a lot like Milheim, this guy, as advertised, gets the big billing and delivers. And there was never a doubt as he gets the Hill United home run hat that they've fashioned all year long. Not to mention all the high fives and arm bumps along the way. As Villavazzo wastes little time making an impact in the 2024 tournament. He's just 26 years of age. Batted 8 for 19 last year as a member of the JB Bombers.
Went down and got that one a little bit way up in the air, way out of the park. Tony Gonzalez, another Mexican national. He's been with the Hill United Chiefs for several years now, and he moved, Peter, from second to first to accommodate Lenny Villavazzo. Did so willingly, knowing what kind of teammate that they were getting.
35 years of age, all-world player in 2021 and 2022.
Chopper on the infield. Christensen's been busy over there.
That one was much easier for him than the last couple.
Little one hopper. That's his third ground out already. I could go a month playing third base and only get 3 ground outs.
Well, it's a little warm over there sometimes, so it's okay every once in a while when you face a lineup like this, but you're right. He has been very, very busy and needed and has been solid to boot.
So Josh McGovern now in his 3rd or 4th year with the Hill United Chiefs.
Canberra, Australia product. I was a little surprised he didn't play earlier this year.
Well, I think Australia, honestly, Peter, took a bit of a chance that they were going to be able to scrape through that qualifier. They didn't take everybody that they could have taken. Josh McGovern, Nick Shales amongst those who were missing.
And as far as the WBSC is concerned, how they work things with their ranking points, because of where they sat ranking-wise, even if it didn't work out, and it almost didn't work out in Mexico.
They nearly lost that 3rd-place game.
Well, they struggled all week.
Yeah.
They lost to Czechia. They lost their opening game to Venezuela 7-0. They were in it with the Philippines in a tough game. They lose to the Philippines, Blair. There was a chance they weren't going to make the Final Four.
You're absolutely correct. And honestly, it came down to how much did Jack Besgrove want to win that tournament. And he pitched them through that repechage round and into that's ultimately the 2nd-place position.
Yeah, he ended up with 70 strikeouts during the week.
Darren Zach-like
in
numbers.
33 2/3. Would imagine that McGovern will be in Prince Albert next year.
Well, I think there's a lot of guys that will be making the case to get added to that Aussie Steelers team. Josh McGovern, Nick Shales, and I know Nick did one of those episodes of Dust Up, the debrief sessions. He's a regular there now with Hilly and Lawley. And he said, listen, if somebody takes my place, so be it. And then it may have been on Outside the Chute, but the Aussies gave the chance to a lot of guys. Now, a lot of guys may have played themselves out of contention, too, the way things went for them.
It'd be interesting to see the group they put together.
High hopper on the infield to the shortstop. Ryan Budnick puts that one away for the 2nd out of the inning.
One thing I noticed, Blair, even in the warm-up, is the arm strength of Budnick. Look how he releases this.
Yeah, right over the top.
And gets there in a hurry.
Clearly some baseball training there.
Alan Pecker, the batter, the 26-year-old from Argentina.
Well, that's something I wanted to pick up on. Been injured all summer, but had a really strong tournament in Grand Rapids last week. And if Allen is on, the dimension that he brings to the game at the bottom of the order here, Seattle has got him defensed totally wrong. If he drops down a bunt and it hits the ground, they'll never get him. They all need to be in 4 or 5 steps.
Well, they'll find out very quickly. It was a bit of a rough go for him last year in Wisconsin. 3 for 13, 231, double and 2 runs batted in. You mentioned how good he was last week. He was a first-team ASA performer in that event. Helped his home country win a world championship in Prague in 2019.
He was a part of that bronze medal U23 team, too. We forget how young Allen is. He's been coming over here since he was 17 in 2018 with the Kitchener Cubs. 2019 All-World with the Cubs as they went to the final that year, and he was lights out, the best player for the Cubs that year.
He's got a lot of good softball left in him. Looked like he went around to me.
Well, I think he got a bit of a break there. Honestly, I might have been breaking towards first if I was Allen, but he was playing it calm and cool.
You mentioned the injury that he's dealt with. It kept him out of the World Cup group event in Prince Albert. Certainly will be there with Argentina next year, if healthy. Some of these countries have hard decisions to get to 16.
Works a walk here in the 9 spot. That's a good AB by Allen. Did not chase down and out of the zone. Didn't go after that good drop from Julian Rodriguez. And back to the top of the shop for Shane Boland.
Yeah, Shane grounded out his first time up to Chase Christensen over at third.
And we're going to get a mound visit here from the skipper for the Seattle Dirt Dogs. I am sure this is about what do we do with Alan Pecker, because he's probably going to be going on the first 2 pitches.
Well, we'll find out just how healthy he is if that's the case. Talked about the groin. Was it the groin that gave him trouble?
He got there was a collision
it was a
very
bruise.
early in the year.
Like
he had a real deep
thigh
contusion.
bruise. That's
yeah.
it. That's it.
It
Pardon
was
me.
it was a collision with, I think, Villavazo, and he got the knee deep into the thigh.
That's never comfortable.
Thigh or the calf, I forget. But yeah, it was a real deep bruise.
Kept him out for quite a while.
Most of the summer.
Yeah.
He went from like the first weekend to the last weekend without playing.
Because we didn't see him in Simcoe at the end of June.
No. Off the glove, and it's academic. He'll trot up to second the easy way.
Now there's one Jake Gardner behind home plate would like to have. Rodriguez has some pretty good velocity. I've liked the drop. He's only given up 2 hits so far, Blair.
Yeah, that was the rise ball up and in on Shane Boland.
I think the drop's his best pitch. If the early innings are any indication, see what he comes up with here.
In for a strike. The Aussie contingent packing it in for the night, it looks like. Chris Kiefel has been here the last couple of nights, all day, all night, taking in all the games. There's quite a broad Aussie contingent here in addition to the Sydney Tropics. You've got Aussies scattered throughout the lineup. You've got a couple of them here with Shales and McGovern for Hill United in this one.
I wonder if they enjoyed our Australia national team conversation. They weren't far away to be able to listen to it.
Kiefel, I think, is back involved with them.
He
too.
is.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah. Shane Boland, deep left field, way back, and that's gone. Shane Boland puts a charge into one. And just that quick, Peter, 3-0, and this is the quick strike offense that the Hill United Chiefs have assembled. Power, top to bottom. Shane Boland, he'll get to wear the home run hat. It fits him a little bit better than it does Lenny Villavazo, who looks like a 7-year-old child wearing a hat when he puts it on.
Thank you, Blair. I was not expecting that. That is some funny. I know I'm a little tired, but that is some funny. Well, that has to make Shane feel very, very good. You talked about, and he'd be the first. One thing, whenever you visit with either Ryan or Shane, if you want honesty and 2 guys who love this game and are going to tell you the truth, it's those 2 guys.
Blunt truth.
Yes, they do want the truth. One of my favorite moments of the year being around this sport was about a 25-minute conversation I had with Ryan in Simcoe. Could talk ball and sports with that guy for days. Talk about intense. Find that picture in the dictionary.
Yes, indeed. Talked with Ryan briefly this morning at the Hall of Fame breakfast. He wanted to know what the games were like last night, how the park was, just gathering intelligence.
That would be him. Yeah, he's awesome. Well, his brother has added to the advantage. Did not homer. Shane did not in last year's event. Had 3 runs batted in. Now he has 2 in 2024.
Bradley Ezekiel at the plate. Went down on strikes, but reached on the pass ball.
Blair, I do not have the Watch Brad Ezekiel resume that you have, not even remotely close. But I will tell you this. I have only watched him go hitless once in all the games I have witnessed. Of course, you know that's going to happen now tonight.
But there is the jinx. You just handed it to him.
But it's not the first time I've brought it up either. And he keeps doing it, and most of the time in games I've been at, a lot of them have left the yard too.
Well, very memorably, of course, and you were at the game in Ajax 2015, Bradley Ezekiel.
2-run homer.
Called strike 3. Bradley Ezekiel not thrilled with the call. Caught looking. But the Hill United Chiefs, a solo shot by Lenny Villavazzo, a 2-run bomb from Shane Boland. And the Chiefs break out 3-0 through 2 complete. Seattle Dirt Dogs see if they can get a bat on the ball against Roman Godoy.
Do you need a reliable supply of products to run your business? Are you tired of having to deal with multiple suppliers to get everything you need? Absolute Business Supply is your dedicated, full-service business supply partner offering over 400,000 products and unmatched customer service. At ABS, we aren't just selling products. We offer a commitment to building meaningful relationships with our customers, getting to know your business goals so we can provide the best possible solutions for your needs. Find us on the web at absolutebusinesssupply.ca and let us get it for you.
Peligro Sports provides the essentials needed to give your team an edge on the field. Our brand is rooted in creating a unique experience tailored to the specific needs of your team to ensure your performance.
Brent Schick, first pitch, fouls that one off. Roman Godoy has been untouchable so far, Peter. He is Elliot Ness.
Yeah, not only that, he's struck out 6 straight batters. A lot like Jack Besgrove in the game prior to this one. Jack struck out 8 in a row before giving up a pop-up base hit in the win over the Steveston Canadians.
And that got the second biggest cheer of the night. The home run by Steveston late in the game got the biggest cheer.
Which was not off of Besgrove. It came off Pablo Migliavaca, the fellow countryman of Roman Godoy.
But I'll tell you what, the young lad who hit that for Steveston will be taking that to the bank and dining out on it for the rest of the 2020s.
Yeah, you can tell your grandkids about that one.
Swings over the top, thrown out by Josh McGovern. So run that strikeout mix here now to 7 in a row for Roman Godoy. And 2 of the changeups were just unhittable, Peter.
Filthy. Nasty with a capital N. This ball gets away from McGovern, the 27-year-old catcher. He can be a versatile guy as well.
Yeah, he can play some third base. He can be the designated player. Can play first in a pinch. Swing and a miss there by Caleb Humphreys, the second baseman for Seattle. Peter, Toronto Batmen are up 3-0 on the Can West Thunder. That's the only other game still on the go here on day 2.
Be an interesting matchup tomorrow here at 1 o'clock. The AWP Lumberjacks against Grand Prairie, who survived with an extra inning win in their opening game yesterday. Talking about the Grand Prairie Pirates. That's arguably been as good a game as there's been so far in the first 2 days. I think, Blair, that's fair.
I think you're absolutely right. That comeback by Georgian Bay in the 7th to tie. And then Grand Prairie pushing one across in the bottom of the 8th after giving up
a home run to give Georgian Bay their first lead of the game.
In the top, that's right, yeah.
Off the bat of Enzo Sharamonte, who clobbered it off one of the light standards.
Yeah, it was one of the longer home runs of the tournament, too. Make it 8 strikeouts in a row. Caleb Humphreys goes down swinging, chases the big rise ball. Ryan Parker, the 9 batter, left fielder for Seattle.
They've gone with the exact same 9 that they did yesterday in the 2-1 triumph over the Alberta Masters team.
Well, you have a little bit of success. You keep going with it.
Ryan is from Midland, Michigan. Was 0 for 1 in the game yesterday.
I wonder if he's moved out to Seattle, because why would you go all the way out there when you've got a fastball team in your hometown?
Well, unless I wrote it down wrong. And
no, I mean, maybe he's originally from there and has moved out to Seattle. I don't know.
Possibly. Might have to double check that on the old rosters.
That is a strange one.
Right now, nobody's even close to touching this guy. It's one thing to get strikeouts. It's not even touching the ball.
Yuri Dostel, the home plate umpire from Czechia behind the plate, doesn't call that one. Sorry, yes, Yuri Dostel behind the plate. Eric Bowden from the States is over at first, and George LeMaitre from Ontario is over at third. Fouls this one back to the screen. That's almost an accomplishment, Peter, as you said.
There have not been a lot of those. Just utter dominance by Godoy to this point. And you somewhat expect that in these types of early matchups, with teams punching out of their weight class early in the event.
Oh, look at Kuba Osichka here enjoying the poutine. That is going to sit heavy tomorrow morning. 9 in a row as Roman Godoy is just dominant. Perfect for the first 3. Osichka sees himself on the video port. Nick Shales, Bruno Matrone, Quentin Bruce. 3-4-5. Ironically, Peter, 3-4-5. Well, you had the single by Bruno Matrone, but not much else in that neighborhood. Looks a little sparse on the scorecard right now.
Yet
being the key word there.
There's the drop again from Rodriguez, who does have 3 strikeouts and given up 3 hits. You might suggest that Hill United has been opportunistic, and 2 of those hits were home runs.
And honestly, I think if he stays with that drop, just work that in and out, show the rise ball for show, but keep it out of the strike zone. You don't want guys to even foul off the rise ball. live off the drop.
Should clarify, Midland, Texas is the home of Ryan Parker.
Yeah, let's do that, because Ryan Parker, of course, the son of our Texas ISC Commissioner Dave Parker, and I actually talked to Ryan about 3 hours ago around just about before the opening ceremonies, and it was in the back of my mind. I'm like, Midland, why? Well, Midland's ringing a bell. And of course, Dave and family are from Midland, Texas, so glad we got that one right.
Yeah, and the Midland I'm more familiar with, and I was in Midland, Michigan earlier this year. The main ballpark's not there anymore.
No, sadly, Curry Stadium has been taken down. All the water damage from the floods over the years and had just decayed the concrete. It was no longer a safe structure as deemed by the town. And unfortunately, Curry Stadium, no longer there, the home of the 2010 and 2012 ISC World Tournaments.
That's why I drove there from Saginaw, where I was scouting a hockey event. Thought I'd go into a fastball-rich area to take a peek, because I love ballparks. Even if no one's playing, I like going to have a peek.
Well, and that was a good one. Was that a foul ball? So he's out because they used it's the WBSC rule that we use on pass ball third strike. So if it's on this side of the first base side of the foul area, then you can throw to the orange bag. So if you saw them tag there, he's tagging the orange bag. He's allowed to do that when the ball goes to this side of foul territory.
Well, that was really odd. The catcher wasn't throwing it. Nick wasn't running, and eventually
everybody yelled throw it and spurred some action.
Eventually we got an out.
This one is not coming back. Bruno Matroni clears the fence, clears the bleachers, and extends it to a 4-0 lead. And Peter, just from the sound of the bat alone, you knew that one was gone.
No kidding. Did you ever? It might have cleared the second fence in behind the bleachers.
Here's a home run sound. Everybody knew that was gone from the crack of the bat.
So the veteran 39-year-old Matroni. Interesting, Blair, last year he did not have an extra base hit.
Well, he played injured through the World Tournament last year and basically pinch hitting duties for the most part. Quentin Bruce hammers one through the 5.5 hole, takes a big turn, and will retreat back to the bag. And what I like about that at bat right there, Peter, he jumped on the first pitch, but took it the opposite way. He didn't have to pull it to get the base hit.
Quentin Bruce, old school. No batting gloves. 5-tool type player himself. The way he runs, hits, fields. Pretty decent arm. He's a whale of a player.
Oh, yeah. That is a real big get for the Hill United Chiefs. And he's here because this was his favorite team growing up. This was a John Tavares Toronto Maple Leafs moment.
Interesting.
For Quentin Bruce. He's only, 25, 26,
yes,
as he just said. And you think about when he would have been a teenager, this one is laced, but it's fouled down the left side by Lenny Villavazzo. When he would have been a teenager, it's in the 2010s. And what were we doing? We were broadcasting Hill United Chiefs games here at the ISC World Tournament all through the 2010s. He grew up watching this team. It was his favorite team.
It's from Grand Valley, Ontario. 8 for 16 in last year's tournament in Denmark, Wisconsin.
That was with the Bear Creek Express. They were the finalists last year, second place. And that goes off the glove of Gardner. Up to second base goes Quentin Bruce. And Gardner just seems to be having a little bit of trouble when the guys get the bat out. It's not a full swing, but he seems to be having trouble on some of those.
It's unnerving for your pitcher when that happens, because sometimes it means you can't feel as comfortable throwing certain types of pitches.
1-1 to Villavazo. And fouls this one straight back, and I think Lenny would like that pitch back.
Lenny doesn't have a lot of poor swings, Blair Setford.
He does not miss very often.
Even that in the just miss category for Lenny Villavazo. Is there any relation to the pitcher?
No, I don't think there's a relation there with Sammy Villavazo, but I think he has a brother or a cousin that's still on the JB team. Juan Villavazo.
It's an interesting stance he has.
Oh, and in off the thigh.
Didn't even phase him.
So some action down in the bullpen for Seattle. Number 42, Lamar Goss, is up and throwing for the Dirt Dogs. He got up in a hurry, too. So Tony Gonzalez with a couple of runners aboard.
Tony grounded out to Chase Christensen over at third, his first time up. 4 for 13 in last year's ISC World Tournament with a triple and 5 runs batted in.
Misses downstairs.
Now pitcher and catcher, and you see this a lot, Blair, when there's a runner at second base. You really need to change your signs up, converse, make sure that everybody's on the same page, including your infielders, because they're all looking in to see what's being called, not only the pitch, but the location.
Yeah, the shortstop and the second baseman in particular will want to know the new set of signals that they're going to go with. That is a permitted defensive conference to legitimately change the signs, but you can't just go out there willy-nilly to have a conference every other pitch like we happened to see a couple of years ago, which led to the defensive delay rule. Gonzalez fouls right back to the screen. Tony, the MVP at the Canada East qualifier back in mid-June. Hill United Chiefs champions there. And I said to the Chiefs in the post-tournament conclusion, our closing ceremonies, teams who win that tournament tend to do very well here at the ISC World Tournament. So we'll see.
That was in Mitchell?
That was the Mitchell qualifier, absolutely. We'll see how that all turns out. There's that real good drop again from Rodriguez. He gets that inside to the righties and just buries it underneath the hands.
Yeah, when it's underneath the hands in that location, that's almost an unhittable pitch. And that was the first thing I noticed about him in the opening inning. Because I mentioned you could see how he would have a big strikeout game against, you know, a same weight class type opponent. And he does have 4 strikeouts in this game, and we're only in the 3rd inning. So that's nothing to sneeze at against a lineup this talented.
And it's interesting who those 4 strikeouts have come against, too.
Yeah, 2 of them are Bradley Ezekiel and Nick Shales. Yeah, that's not easy to do
No, it's
for
not.
anyone. And has not been for a long time on either front.
Nobody liked where they were at with the signs. Rodriguez wasn't budging out there on the board. Tony Gonzalez at the plate eventually called time. Bruce peering in intently over the shoulder from second base. This one is smoked, and that's a fair ball down the third base side. Bruce comes around to score easy. Hot on his heels is Villavazo. No throw. 2 RBI double for Tony Gonzalez as he sneaks one inside the bag at third, and that rattled all the way down to the fence and left.
You used a great adjective, Mr. Setford, smoked. That's what it was down the line, and I'm taken aback just a little by the speed of Villavazzo. He is built like a fire hydrant, but certainly doesn't run like one.
He came all the way from first, all the way around to score on a ball that didn't make it all the way to the fence. I thought it had gone all the way to the fence because it didn't draw the throw, but what will draw a pitching change. We'll take a break, and we'll come back with a new pitcher for the Seattle Dirt Dogs. Hill United Chiefs comfortably in front.
Sometimes people worry about asking for help because there can be a stigma around mental health problems.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
They might believe that asking for help means admitting that something's wrong.
Trust your teammates. Trust your teammates.
Some people worry about how others might see them.
Trust your teammates. Trust your teammates.
Asking for help means that you want to make changes and take the first steps towards better mental health.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
We should celebrate the courage it takes to speak up and make changes.
Trust your teammates. Trust your teammates.
Getting help is part of recovery.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
Mental health isn't something you need to keep to yourself. Talk to a friend. Trust your teammates. You're not alone.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
The first steps may be the toughest, but knowing where to look for help is a good start. Community mental health organizations like the Canadian Mental Health Association or Mental Health America offer resources and programs that can help you. Visit cmha.ca or mentalhealthamerica.net to find a branch in your community.
And remember,
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
This business was opened in 1965.
Lamar Goss, a big, tall right-hander for Seattle. Peter just finishing the warm-up tosses, and this guy's a specimen.
Yes, he is a large human from Long Beach, California, replacing the starter, Julio Rodriguez, who gives up 6 hits, 6 runs. The long ball was what hurt him. He did end up with 4 strikeouts.
Yeah, when he kept the ball down, he was effective, but well, you get it up in the zone against these guys, and they just don't miss when it comes to mistakes.
Which is always fascinating to me. Not that I ever played this game at a very high level, but I did play it for a few years after growing up playing baseball primarily. I always found the rise ball to be the hardest pitch to hit in this sport.
I loved a good rise ball to go after.
I did not like it at all.
Well, you played baseball, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
All the stuff that you saw was breaking down. If you grow up playing this game, the rise ball is the easier adjustment. I always thought, at least anyway. That was my theory.
Makes sense.
Opening up with a strike to Josh McGovern. Lamar Goss certainly had some heat in his warm-up pitches. Peers in to get a sign. And this one is lofted up to center, but not deep enough to get out of the park. Gonzalez will tag at second. A decent throw, but just off the bag a little bit from the center fielder.
Tyson Fischlin.
That
was a better than decent throw. That was on a line.
So he sets his feet, does a good job to get ready for the throw, and we just didn't quite see the end of it. Tony Gonzalez tagged. He made it to third standing up, but that throw was hot on his heels.
Never thought it would even have a chance to be close.
Yeah, you just saw it coming in at the end of the replay there. Great work by Carol Tereste, Luciano Lafrano to pull all those together. The multi-camera replay is a specialty that Luciano has added to his bag of tricks here this year for the 2024 season. And that looked like a little bit of a changeup down to 66 miles an hour
indeed
from Lamar Goss. So Alan Pecker at the plate.
He walked and scored.
And there's a real good changeup from Lamar Goss. That was a knee breaker for Pecker. Down on strikes, caught looking. The Chiefs tack on 3. Tony Gonzalez with a couple of RBIs. Bruno Matroni with a big home run. And make it 6-0 now for the Chiefs through 3 complete. We'll go to the top of the 4th. We'll see if anybody can get a bat on an offering from Roman Godoy.
The annual Boys of Summer Tournament is held every July at the Circle Tap Bar and Grill in Denmark, Wisconsin. We host some of the top teams in the game at one of the best venues in softball. The atmosphere of old-time fast pitch with all of the amenities of a full-service bar and grill in the grounds can't be beat. Reduced-rate hotels about 10 minutes from the park are available in Green Bay. To bring your team to the annual Boys of Summer Tournament next July, contact Dean Kane at deankane16@gmail.com. Thanks to Circle Tap for their support of the broadcast.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon.
Top of the shop, Tyson Fischlin. Well, we know this kid's got an arm, Peter. We'll see if he can get a bat on the ball.
There is no doubt about that. He showed that off in the last inning.
Can't touch that changeup from Roman Godoy. That's an interesting opener from he and Josh McGovern.
Yeah, we haven't seen the change a lot.
Swings and misses there at the rise ball. And that's only registering 69-70 for the rise ball. It's harder than that.
Well, on the gun, depending on its location, and the rise is never going to necessarily be clocked sometimes the way down movement will.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The rise is usually going to be 4 or 5 miles per hour slower than the drop ball, but Roman Godoy throws harder than high 90 or high 60s.
Oh, there's absolutely no question about that. But our speed gun is not directly behind home plate. And I remember being at this park with Luciano earlier this year, and I know why it's in a different spot. Because the first one was smashed.
Uh-oh. Well, make it 10 in a row as Josh McGovern completes the strikeout on behalf of Roman Godoy. Tyson Fischlin down on strikes for the second time tonight. There's the drop ball from Godoy. You see that fall off the table.
There's only been, by my count, maybe even 3 or 4 foul balls.
Yeah, it's really just been a dominant display here by Roman Godoy tonight. Swing and a miss by Jake Gardner.
His movement, Blair, and you could even see it early. Even in the warm-up, I thought, that ball is jumping.
.61. Dialed that right down for the change. So they're working it in very effectively. 1 or 2 a batter. You're right, Peter. They went away from it in the third. They didn't throw very many of them in the third. But now we're back to the top of the shop, second time through. high, hard stuff there from Ramon Godoy. So you got the dipper, you got the changeup, you got the rise ball. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. And down goes Jake Gardner. At least he was swinging this time.
Unfortunately for the Dirt Dogs, not even close right now.
Chase Christensen looks at strike one. And that's been the theme all night here, too, with Ramon Godoy. Every batter, strike one. I don't think he's fallen behind anybody.
He has not. Haven't had a chance to take a look at the pitch count yet, but I bet it's about as effective as it can be. Because he's ahead, no balls and 2 strikes on Christensen.
Well, there's a foul ball to the screen. That's a moral victory, at least for Chase Christensen.
It was a good swing, too.
48 pitches, and we're here in the 4th. So averaging 12, 13 an inning. Joe Todd, anything under 15, he says, is very efficient.
Good piece of hitting right there to lay off that pitch.
Yeah, able to hold off. Had the notion to go, but thought better of it.
Coming upstairs here again?
Change-up is what I'm thinking. There it is,
Yeah,
and
you're
just
right.
tap foul.
Well, this has been one of the better at-bats from the third baseman, Chase Christensen, who's done a nice job on 2 or 3 balls that he's had to deal with over at the hot corner as well.
Battling here, 1 and 2, 2 down in the inning. Top of the 4th, the Chiefs 6-0 lead and full control. Swing and a miss. There's the high, hard one from Ramon Godoy. Make it an even dozen. 12 up, 12 down, all by way of strikeout for Ramon Godoy. Hill United Chiefs will come up in the bottom of the 4th inning. They're up 6, looking for 1 to take it to the 5th and maybe end the night early.
This business was opened in 1965 by my father, Ned Matiosi. Could have walked in here 25, 30 years ago and seen just about the same thing. The process of making this suit takes about 6 weeks. It goes through about 12 or 13 hands as it's moved along the line. It's an old-time place. Making stuff from scratch here in the city at a reasonable cost. It's a very personal type of business.
He came from Australia with a superstar pedigree. And from his first ISC in 2003, you knew he was going to be something special. 6 times All-World, a 3-time ISC champion, and now the first Aussie inducted into the ISC Hall of Fame. From counting materials and the farm in Wisconsin, to Kitchener, to finding a home in the New York Gremlins colours. Congratulations, Jeff Goolagong, from all of us.
same last name.
He does. He does. Kyle Ezekiel, the youngest of the three Ezekiel brothers. Pinch hitting here for Bradley, who just couldn't figure out Julian Rodriguez. Kyle can't catch up to that drop ball from Lamar Goss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Shane Boland opened up the inning with a single, and then the pinch runner has come on for him, Tyler Brancho. That one almost hits the mascot.
Mike Brancho's son. Mike is the CEO of Softball Canada and one of the fine gentlemen that you'll deal with. Always a pleasure chatting with Mike over the years.
I thought Mike told me he was going to come out, and it might be tomorrow that he was coming out. Joe Todd's nodding in agreement. So pretty sure that Mike's going to be here to scout and visit and just take in some games for the week. Kyle Ezekiel down to first base on the walk. We'll try to get Mike Brancho in for a visit.
That would be great.
Mike Brancho was all-world in one of the few ISC World Tournaments that he played in. He's in the guide.
I've noticed that. That would be a good topic to chat with him about.
Piplo Lopez pinch hitting for Nick Shales. Jeff Ellsworth emptying the bench. Piplo was playing in that tournament in Mexico earlier in, well, I was going to say spring, but it was summer. It was 47 degrees.
Yeah, it was the first
Mexico.
week of June. He was 4 for 17 in that qualifier. He had a home run and 2 runs batted in, including a home run against Venezuela. For the most part, a very young Mexico team that took the field in their home country. The roster could have been a lot different and a lot more dangerous.
Well, with Lenny Villavazo there, had Tony Gonzalez been there, there were some options that they had, but it was mostly the U20 team that competed and did so well in that tournament where they got the silver medal to losing to Japan on a walk-off grand slam, if memory serves, in that event last fall.
Yeah, that young Mexican core. And remember, Marco Diaz, had he decided to play for his
could have gone the other way.
Own country that he was born in, that might have set the table for Mexico for a long, long time. But he's opted to play internationally for the United States.
Yeah, and players like Jordan Solorio. There are some good young ball players in Mexico.
They have a chance to be a handful in the years to come, which is great for the sport.
Oh, called strike 3 on Piplo Lopez. Looked almost, Peter, like he was going to lean out of the way of that one, but it broke in.
Now, Jeff Ellsworth is going to come chat, and he's going to make a change. For a minute, I thought he was going to talk more about the pitch, but that usually gets you in trouble. And, well, just go to the bench and pick somebody else who plays for another powerhouse in the world, another player who plays internationally for Argentina.
Luca Biondi, and you talk about guys who've got speed to burn. Peter, this kid runs like a frightened deer.
I would like to see a race between Biondi, Mumu, and Nick White.
Throw Pecker into that mix, maybe Yusuf Davis from USA, and now you got a track meet.
Yeah, those guys could have been in Paris. How about our 4x100 team?
How about that?
Wasn't that awesome?
Just as we take a moment to be proud Canadians.
Well, that's never going away for me, and I'm not going to ever apologize for it. Sorry.
Nor should any of us.
No matter where you're looking in tonight. That one I don't apologize for.
That one's hit into the gap. Long run, and in and out of the glove of the center fielder, Tyson Fischlund. Here comes one, here comes two, and Luca Biondi, not too far behind them, but he pulls out the chute and stays at third.
He's just 21.
Hey,
bit of a future for this guy, too.
Just a bit. Hill United has got a keeper there. A 2 RBI triple for Biondi. And, you know, when you empty the benches like this, we talked about this yesterday as well, this is the opportunity for these guys to impress the coaches and try to force their way into the lineup. The good times keep on coming, too. It's Nick White will get an opportunity to drive in a run. Nick played just about all season in right field for the Chiefs with the injury to Alan Pecker. He really got the opportunity to showcase himself and actually played his way onto that development team that Team Canada sent to Prince Albert for that regional qualifier event. Pulled his head out of it there on the swing. But he's had a really good season here for the Chiefs.
When I think about watching him, Blair, in this ballpark at the Canadians last year, where at times he looked overwhelmed in that event, to the circle that he has come around in, I'm not sure I've ever seen a player take that big a step in that short a time.
Yeah, it's been a real quick and rapid development cycle here for Nick White. This is one of the advantages, and Peter, you and I have talked about this. Young player catches on with a big team, sees how the top players in the game play the game, how they react to certain situations. If you sit on the bench and if you're a sponge, when you get the opportunity, you go out and you do what Nick White's done this year.
Well, it's true, although I'll make a bit of an argument. When you're as talented as he is, I always wonder about that story. I really do. And I know people won't like to hear that, but to see this guy have to come off the bench in this event, I don't know, Blair. And I know that won't be popular for some people, and trust me, I've been around sports my whole life, so I'm never going to sit here and tell you I don't see the advantage in learning from some of the best people in the game. But you're 20 years old.
Well, here's where I hope, if it's a bench role that he's offered next year, that he has the gumption to say, you know what, guys, I'll come back here in 3 years, but I'm going to go somewhere else and I'm going to play every day. I hope that may be the way it works out, because I do agree with you, Peter. We don't want 20, 21-year-old guys sitting on benches just trying to pick up rings.
No.
And I don't think Nick White is looking to do that before somebody calls me up or bings me on social media and says, yeah, but he's no, I'm not saying that that's what Nick White is doing. I hope that he goes and plays every day somewhere else. Well hit, center field. Not going to get out of here, but it's going to drive him back. Biondi will score with ease from third base. So a sac fly RBI. Nick White does the job, brings home the run.
Good piece of hitting by the 20-year-old from Truro, Nova Scotia. He won't turn 21 until the 4th of December. And he acquitted himself very well in that World Cup Group B qualifier in Prince Albert. I think he had hits, Blair, in his first 4 games. He tailed off a little later, and it was interesting even on that at-bat. That first swing when he kind of pulled himself away, that's what started to happen as that event went on.
And that's coachable. That's teaching. You can absolutely train somebody out of that for sure.
I think Nick White has a long, arduous future in the game and might be in the Canadian outfield for a long time internationally with the likes of Jordan Pomeroy.
Well, with the turnover that's coming after this cycle, I absolutely agree. There will be a plethora of openings on this Canadian team post-2025.
And that's okay.
Swing and a miss there by Lenny Villavazzo. Hill United Chiefs now out 9-0. It's a troika of threes in the second, the third, and the fourth as they have piled up the runs.
It has cooled off considerably tonight. not as warm a day here in Surrey, British Columbia.
It was lovely when the sun came out this afternoon.
Oh, it was
very overcast
beautiful.
and cloudy this morning.
I'm surprised it still says it's 18.
Yeah, it does not feel like 18 up here.
A little more wind tonight, too, which always plays a factor, but still an awesome Sunday, day 2 of this event, which will wrap up with the championship final next Saturday. The championship game slated for 6 o'clock.
Well, Peter, as you mentioned that, why don't we take a look at the bracket that Joe Todd has so helpfully filled out for us. At the top, the New York Gremlins, 11-1 winners tonight. They'll take on Midland tomorrow at 11 a.m. We'll be broadcasting 1, 3, 6, and 8. So the Gremlins at 11 a.m. You'll be able to follow that game on Game Changer. We're going to pick up the broadcast at 1 with the Grand Prairie Pirates and the AWP Lumberjacks. That game has the potential to be a barn burner.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward. I'll have the opportunity to call that one tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Pretty good game in the nightcap, too, with the JB Bombers and the Kegel Black Knights.
Yeah, we've got that one at 8 p.m. tomorrow night. At 3, it'll be the Bear Creek Express and the Ostrander Norsemen. That one looks really interesting, too. Sammy Villavazo looked really good for the Norsemen last night. Off the glove, Tony Gonzalez with another base hit. Lenny Villavazo turns around third and then just strolls casually back to the bag. Tony Gonzalez has hit the ball hard twice down the third base side.
He's 2 for 2 in the game. Has torn the cover off it a little bit, the 35-year-old from Mexico. As Hill United took a little while, but they've finally blown the doors open.
Peter, there's a real good game at 9 a.m. too. Circle Tap Dukes and the Glowworm squad, formerly of San Antonio, moved over the border to Mexico this year. That is a game that I'm hoping to take a peek at. We've got some ISC committee meetings tomorrow morning that Joe and I will be attending, so keep an eye on that one on Game Changer.
That's a good day tomorrow.
Hill United, Pueblo Bandits at 11 on D2. I'm assuming that Hill United's going to go on to stay in front in this one. I think a fairly safe bet at this point.
Well, I would say call Al Michaels if this game turns around. Might be a bigger miracle than the one in 1980 at this point.
Do you believe in miracles? JB and Kegel Black Knights. That'll be the nightcap tomorrow night. 2 teams from not the Eastern time zone. And then the Northeast Drillers and STK.
That'll be an interesting matchup, too.
Yeah, they'll get things kicked off tomorrow at 9 a.m. here on Diamond 1. So some terrific matchups in the round of 16 on Monday. As we get closer and closer, compressing that bracket, getting towards the sharp end on Friday night.
Yeah, the days at this event just get better and better with each passing one. Very excited to see how it plays out.
Josh McGovern lifts this one up into short right, going back as the second baseman, and that is a very good play by Caleb Humphreys to go back that far in the grass and to make that catch coming over his shoulder.
Yeah, when you take it over your head, he did a nice job. The way he went back on it, and there's nothing more difficult if you've ever played that position at taking one directly over your head. He still managed to keep that off to the side. Good play.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon.
Well, Peter, I think at 9-0 here, the only question that needs to be answered is around Ramon Godoy. He's back out here for the top of the 5th. He has struck out 12 through 4. Josh Cowan, a pinch hitter for Seattle to lead things off here in the top of the 5th. Andrew Netherton is another pinch hitter who's on deck, and I'm assuming Seattle is going to give 3 of their bench guys, or maybe more, a crack at Ramon Godoy to see if somebody can get a ball into play. Turns for the bunt and takes a called strike.
I wonder if he's thinking about it. We all know what's on the line here.
Well, that's a good play by Tony Gonzalez to pick that up and make the tag while the runner was still in front of him. Breaks the strikeout string. 12 up, 12 down via the strikeout. Now 13 on a ground out, 3 unassisted.
I got to tell you, I was hoping for the potential of 15 and 15.
The perfect perfecto. So Netherton hitting for Levi Tate. And Godoy blows one right by him for the opener.
Welcome to the game. No, thank you. Cold.
Yeah, it's a little cool tonight. This guy's throwing bullets, but go up there and try to get a hit. And there's a wicked changeup that you're going to wave over to while you're at it.
That's not even fair.
And now you come back with a high hard one again here.
That would be my guess. Up and out, too. Nope. Went right back to the change again. Well, he's put on some show. Ramon Godoy from Argentina.
Well, Dewey Christensen is going to call his own number in the on-deck circle. Is called strike 3. Make it 13 out of 14. And the skipper is going to be the last one to try to break the perfecto here that Ramon Godoy has got going on.
Well, you don't see that every day either, I might add.
Godoy zips in a strike for strike 1. Nine nothing, the Hill United Chiefs. 9 runs, 9 hits, some big flies from the Chiefs tonight. All the top teams making some statements here today. Go all the way back to the Northeast Drillers in our first game of the day, 16-0 winners. 11-1 for the Circle Top Dukes. 11-1 as well, 13-1, sorry, for the Dukes. 11-1 for the Gremlins. 9 for the Chiefs. None of these games really, Peter, all that close. There was some entertainment, I think, in the Gremlins game, and we've got some potential for some history here for Ramon Godoy on this one, just upstairs and out of the zone.
He wants the no-no.
Little stroll behind the board for Ramon Godoy. Sets, fires, and in for strike 3. That is a perfect game for Ramon Godoy. 14 of 15 outs by way of the strikeout. Hill United Chiefs, 9-0 winners as we wrap up day 2 here on the ISC network. Peter Labardius, it has been a pleasure to have you here with us on Hall of Fame Sunday. We'll pick it up on Monday. Come join us, 1 p.m. Pacific time, and we'll bring you the round of 16 on Monday. For Luciano Lafrano, outstanding work as always. Carol Doreste, Joe Todd, Peter Labardius, our guest today, Donnie Hale, Jeff Goolagong. Thanks for being with us on the ISC Network. We hope you have a great night, and we hope you'll join us tomorrow.
For the latest in softball innovation, the website where you can experience the best tournaments in the Americas. Live games, news, tournaments, and much, much more. The best quality live softball, on demand so you can watch when you want. Become a premier member now. Softball